Good evening and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Before we get into your stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines.
One person arrested for attacking a garbage truck in Muthurajawelau. Prasanna Ranatunga issues a warning to the police. Garbage dump at Thekawatta Katugastota at risk from landslides.
Exercising powers vested in the head of state under Section 17 of the Public Security Ordinance, Chapter 40, President Maithripala Sirisena has declared waste disposal as an essential service.
The Gazette will encompass waste management activities by local government bodies, including the collection, transportation, disposal and temporary storage of garbage. Attempts made by any individual or group of persons to delay, obstruct, prevent, harm or threaten to harm persons or assets deployed for this purpose would constitute an offence. Inciting the public to act out against waste management activities or influencing persons to not carry out their duties in waste management also constitutes a crime.
Speaking at an event held today to mark the birthday of late Reggie Ranatunga, MP Prasanna Ranatunga expressed these following views.
You may have seen the Sirasa Media Network, which went to town for the LTT in the past, flaying me recently. I went to Dompe, Mr. President, where even when they were hit with tear gas and were unable to breathe, the people did not move. We stayed with the people. They keep repeating the scene where I am scolding people. I will scold those policemen. I will not stop there. I could not beat them last time, but the next time they attack us, we will be forced to turn around and attack them. I will scold those policemen. I will not stop there. I could not beat them last time, but the next time they attack us, we will be forced to turn around and attack them. If Mahinda Rajapaksa were here today at least to celebrate the memory of Reggie Ranatunga, then we could say that he has realized the value of Reggie Ranatunga. Mahinda is well aware that he cannot do politics without someone from the Ranatunga family, especially in the Gampaha district. Each individual follows a different political system. I for one do not get involved in party politics. At every instance I participate in politics with people who are in the right. Prasanna follows a different system. But our father's political system is also the system followed by his children. Our father worked to protect the party and not to tear it apart. Considering what Prasanna has said recently, I believe it is good for us to do this separately. If we had come with him, we would have fallen to his level. So the best thing for us to do was to honor our father's memory separately. I saw his behavior during recent events. We are all saddened by this. I believe that as a public representative, it would be good if he behaved in a much better manner. Chief Minister addressing a government official. When his mistake was pointed out, he started hurling various insults at the Sirasa Media Network. I think he should realize that Sirasa isn't just a media institution. Sirasa engages in numerous community service programs, especially through Gammadda, which has earned everyone's respect, and they are carrying out a duty that politicians have failed to accomplish. When his faults are pointed out, he should take corrective steps, not blame others. At the concluded general election, he did not campaign for the party in the Gampaha district. He campaigned to defeat good public representatives who are not thieves. I was one of those people. The entire country knows the caliber of the people in their group. I believe that the people made a mistake in electing such people and that they will take steps to correct their mistake. Instead of blaming the media, he must accept his mistakes, including the way in which he has spoken to public officials and businessmen. By reprimanding an innocent truck driver and threatening to beat him and flay him, instead of taking this up with authorities, I believe that he has displayed his political ignorance.
Against a backdrop where waste disposal has been designated as an essential service, an individual who attacked a vehicle transporting waste to Muthurajawala was arrested today. A demonstration was held in Nogape, Bopitiya in Wattala for the second day today, demanding authorities to refrain from dumping waste from Colombo in Muthurajawala. Protesters had blocked the path of lorries carrying waste and had pelted stones at the vehicles. Several members of the clergy were also involved in the demonstration.
අපි කතා කරා දැන් බිෂප් උන්වහන්සේත් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා බිෂප් උන්වහන්සේත් අපි එතනට ගෙනහිල්ලා එනවා. ඉතින් එතකන් తాවකාලිකව අපි පොලිසියේ නිලධාරි මහතුරුගෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා తాවකාලිකව ඕගොල්ලෝ මෙතනින් යන්න එපා ඕගොල්ලෝ ඉන්න මේ දැනට මේ කුණු එන එක චුට්ටක් తాවකාලිකව මේ අපි පද නවත්තන්න අදහස් තියෙනවා.
The group left the area to hold talks with Minister John Amaratunga, following which the waste disposal continued. While residents continued to protest, tensions flared when the police intervened. While the demonstration continued, the group, who had earlier departed for discussions with Minister John Amaratunga, returned to the location.
විකල්පයක් හඳුනා ගැනීම සඳහා කොනවතුමයි ප්‍රාදේශීය ඇමතිවරුන් කීප දෙනෙකුයි ගියා. ඒක සාර්ථකත්වයට පත් වෙනවද කියලා හරියට කියන්න බෑ.
Several garbage trucks returned to the area while talks were underway, prompting residents to resume their protest. Court has issued notices on JP Western Provincial Councillor Lakshman Nipunarachi and 6 others, ordering them to be present before court on Monday. The notices were issued by the Chief Magistrate of Kasbeva, Gihan Ranavaka. The notices were issued on JP Western Provincial Councillor Lakshman Nipunarachi, the former mayor of the Burlaskamo Municipal Council Arunapriya Shanta, the former mayors of the Kasbeva Municipal Council Sumana Vivian Ranavira and Lakshman Pereira, and 3 others. The magistrate had ordered the police to hand-deliver the notices to their residences. Obstructing the enforcement of a court order, turning back the garbage trucks, obstructing the garbage being disposed, and unlawful assembly are the charges that are raised against the group. The police, presenting facts to court, stated that the group had acted in this manner after the court issued an order on the 28th of April granting permission to dump 350 metric tons of garbage from Colombo at the Karandiana waste dump. Notwithstanding the fact that notice has been issued on him to appear in court, Provincial Councillor Lakshman Nipunarachi and several others staged a silent protest today against the disposal of waste from Colombo at the Karandiana terminal. Vehicles transporting waste to Karandiana were turned back. A silent demonstration was held today in Borupuna, Karandiana. A heightened security presence was witnessed in the area. Meanwhile, UNP MP Harshana Rajakaruna toured Dompe, Kidndivala and Maligawata today. The Municipal Commissioner of the Colombo Municipal Council admitted that it is not right to bring garbage to Dompe and promised to put a stop to it. I'm happy on behalf of the residents of Dompe regarding this action. Meanwhile, geologists are warning of the risk of a collapse at the Tekkavatta garbage dump, where waste collected from the Kandy municipality is disposed of. An extremely dangerous situation has arisen here. There are several slopes here which are at risk from landslides. If there is heavy rainfall, this could give away. The southern slope facing the river could give away, which means the waste could enter the river and the Polgolla reservoir, contaminating the water supply throughout the Rajarata region. The former president made these comments on waste management.
Since the environment ministers did not act, eventually I asked the defense secretary to look into how this can be done, and he did it.
Speaking to Newsfirst, Minister S.B. Dissanayake commented on the protests surrounding waste disposal and the actions of politicians.
These are the same people that drafted the plans to dump waste in Karadiyana, Meetotumulla, Kolonnawa and everywhere else. At the same time, even the project to compost waste in Dompe and use it to generate electricity was initiated by former Chief Minister Ranatunga. I cannot understand how he is now shamelessly acting in this way. All of these people are trying to prevent the disposal of waste. They want to ensure that garbage remains uncollected all over Colombo so that all of Colombo becomes one massive garbage dump. What they are doing by provoking and inciting people and members of the clergy is very ugly. If Vasudeva Nanayakkara says that the government is responsible for manslaughter, then we must look at who is truly responsible for it. It was done by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Why aren't they mentioning that? He was the one that disregarded the protests in the past and created the mountains of waste in Meetotumulla. If they are truly against this, they should mention this fact as well.
Steps have been taken to provide temporary shelter for the victims of the Meetotumulla garbage dump collapse at a refurbished storage facility belonging to the Paddy Marketing Board. But there are over 400 families currently taking shelter at the Terence N.D. Silva College in Kolonnawa, which was designated as a relief camp.
The refurbished storage facility is equipped to house 24 families initially. 50 more families will be directed to the Paddy storage facility in the second phase of relocation. Over 60 houses were destroyed when the garbage dump collapsed, while another 22 were damaged. Houses are also being provided in the Laksanda housing complex in Salamulla, Kolonnawa. 30 families have already settled at the housing complex, while there are 68 houses remaining. These people are special. They only have belongings to fill one bag. Though other people come here with happy thoughts, these people come here with sadness. We have arranged counselling for them here. According to data collected by the Kolonnawa Divisional Secretariat, there were around 320 people living in the area that was directly affected by the garbage dump collapse. In addition, the Divisional Secretariat says that there are over 100 people living on rent in the area. There are 201 houses in the high-risk area. The Divisional Secretary of Kolonnawa, Sugat Sisirakumara, says that the Secretariat is in the process of compiling a list with all the details of those who have lost property in the tragedy. He added that the allocated compensation of 50,000 and 10,000 rupees will be provided to the victims and that the evacuees will be provided shelter and security. Meanwhile, the clean-up operation at the site of the calamity continued today.
The dirt will wash away, but the stain on their hearts will never wash away.
I took the baby, woke my daughter and headed to the house across the road. My daughter told me that our wall was cracking and was giving way. As I was running with everyone else, I fell near our house. If I did not get up quickly, I would have been buried too, along with my son. These are the wounds I sustained in the fall. I did not look back to see what had happened. Within 10 minutes, all the houses had collapsed. We had nothing to eat that day. I think many people may have been trapped inside their houses. The people living in the houses behind ours would not have had time to flee. Since we were closest to the road, we were able to save ourselves.
Many endeavours have been undertaken to ensure the survivors are able to resume their lives. The Laksanda housing complex is one such initiative. How are the people settling in here? The entire family was buried under the mountain of waste. Our entire village was buried. Even from here, we can still see the mountain of waste. The people who were living in some of those homes on rent have still not been found. What will happen to us, sir? Will it stop here? Last week, 32 Sri Lankans paid with their lives because of a man-made environmental disaster. Today, the international community marks Mother Earth Day, highlighting the enormous collective responsibility for protecting the planet.
Mother Earth Day began 47 years ago on the 22nd of April 1970. Millions of people took to the streets to protest the negative impact of 150 years of industrial development. In the US and around the world, smog was becoming deadly and evidence was growing that pollution led to developmental delays in children. Biodiversity was in decline as a result of the heavy use of pesticides and other pollutants. Earth Day is now a global event each year. More than 1 billion people in 192 countries take part in what is the largest civic focus day of action in the world. Here, the crisis of waste disposal is just one environmental challenge for Sri Lanka. Reckless deforestation in the name of development has resulted in landslides and drought. This unsustainable development encroaches on wildlife habitat, driving animals into areas of human habitation, leading to conflict between man and beast. The severe lack of clean drinking water in the North Central province is causing chronic kidney disease. A sustainable solution to the fishing disputes in the north must be found before marine life is decimated and there are no fish to fish. Education and action are the two most valuable steps we can take to protect our land.
President Maithripala Sirisena visited the historic Mahiyangana Rajamaha Vihara for religious observances this morning.
The president also took part in a ritual at the Sumana Saman temple in Mahiyangana. The chief incumbent of the Mahiyangana Rajamaha Vihara, Most Venerable Rajakiya Pandita Urulawatte Dhammarakita Thero, presided over the observances. Venerable Andha Ulpota Buddhasara Thero, who was disabled from the Arantalava massacre, was gifted a van by the president.
Customs media spokesperson Dharmasena Kandavana says that investigations are continuing into 2 containers that were subject to inspection at the Orugudawatha Customs Terminal on Wednesday. In more local news, speaking at an opening of a new drinking water project in Viraketa today, Minister Sadith Premadasa had this to say.
My friends, providing clean drinking water is the government's responsibility and duty. If a government fails to provide clean drinking water, it is a violation of human rights, rights that we are duty-bound to uphold. In the past, people took to the streets and protested, demanding clean drinking water. What happened then? Unfortunately, when the people took to the streets back then to demand their rights, their right to live, the response they received was bombs, gunfire, physical assault, tear gas and baton charges.
Customs media spokesperson Dharmasena Kandavana says that investigations are continuing into 2 containers that were subject to inspection at the Orugudawatha Customs Terminal on Wednesday.
2 containers at the Orugudawatha terminal were subjected to an inspection on the 19th of this month following a tip-off that goods intended for trade had been brought in under the guise of being belongings of foreign expatriates in Sri Lanka. The two containers, which had been shipped from Dubai on the 17th of February 2017, were found to contain goods including 154,900 5-watt light bulbs, 1,000 kilograms of almonds, 515,000 lighters, 6,000 kilograms of cardamom and 3,000 pairs of shoes. The Customs Media Division noted that the taxes that had not been paid for these goods, worth about 120 million rupees in total, amounted to approximately 90 million rupees.
දවසකට 10 ගණන් කන්ටේනර් එන කොළඹ වරාය සම්බන්තර වරාය.
Thousands of containers are processed at the Colombo harbour and at the Hambantota port each day. The people have a major question regarding how these containers are released. We saw the DGC of Customs inspecting 2 containers on the news. They say goods worth millions of rupees had been brought in. Is it only 2 containers that are brought in through the harbour? Half of the containers that are processed at the port are not subject to any proper inspection by Customs. It is Customs officers themselves that are smuggling these containers out of the port without charging Customs duties. Yesterday they divulged this to show the people that Sri Lanka Customs captured these 2 containers. How did they seize it and where did the information come from?
කාගේ ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එකකින්ද මේක ඇල්ලුවේ?
When we were inspecting the first container, we were tipped off that there was a second. Their plan was to use the shipping agent to re-export the goods, but we foiled that plan and took custody of that container too and inspected both together. We discovered that containers with similar contents had been released in the past. If an official has been involved in this, we will not hesitate to take legal action.
Activists of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna organized a meeting in Varakapola today.
The sum of the loans obtained by this government in particular is greater than the sum of loans obtained since 1948. How did this transpire? They engaged in theft ever since they were elected. If you read the newspapers, you will get a clear picture of the central bank treasury bond scam. Central bank officers are giving the true evidence. It was done by the present Prime Minister and the government. The FCID is not investigating it and arrests are not being made. The money is being used to start newspapers and TV stations. They are investing in the stock market and also purchasing lands. Another program was organized in Ahungalla yesterday where one of the activists recited a poem.
Maha Bankuwe Ari Ali Horutika Allanna Hire Dana Rana Viruvan Rakaganna Paragati Anduva Sadahata Valalanna Kolambata Yamuda Anduvata Unaganna.
If Ranil from the UNP believes that his group is the strongest and that none of them would cross over, he is wrong. A majority from his side have held talks with us. That is why we say, you do not have to wait until 2020 to change the government. We are committed to create a people's government.
Ashan Silva has won the championship in the car category at this year's Fox Hill Supercross, while Ishan Dasanayaka emerged victorious in the motorcycle category.
This was the 25th edition of the Fox Hill Supercross, Sri Lanka's largest and most prestigious motorsports event. The Supercross comprises 12 motorcycle and car racing events, while for the first time this year the organisers introduced an under-13 motorcycle racing category. Ashan Silva emerged victorious in the 3,500cc car category, while Dinesh Jayawardene came in second and Sajan Zuhair took the last spot on the podium. Ishan Dasanayaka won both the 125cc motorcycle events to claim the championship in the motorcycle category.
Usually, we bring you heartbreaking images of an human-elephant conflict. But tonight, on this Mother Earth Day, we leave you with heartwarming images of the largest land mammal on Earth. I'm Sandra Ferdinando. I shall join you again tomorrow night with more news.